Thank you so much for being here. We know that Vice President Kamala Harris, she is in her hotel in Pittsburgh. They've got the lights as if it's in a studio. They've got the stage. They've even brought in somebody who's dressed and acting like the former president. And then we know that the former president himself is just having sort of informal policy discussions from what we understand in preparation for Tuesday. What do both of these candidates need to prove, Pete?
Well, Kamala Harris has to prove that she is ready for prime time. She's done no solo interviews as the nominee. She does very few unscripted events. And when we do see her in those types of situations throughout the years, she tends to fall flat on her face. So she needs to demonstrate for the American people that she is up to the task of being president of the United States, that she can stand up to the progressive elements of her party that want Israel to just fold to terrorists, and that she could stand up to adversaries like China and Iran and Russia all across this world. That's what she needs to prove. She also needs to defend the indefensible, which is the record and policies of the Biden-Harris administration. Because the American people are seeing an economy and inflation and immigration policies that are not in their favor, and she's going to have to defend those. Donald Trump is going to, I think, hold her feet to the fire, and she's got to be prepared for those withering attacks.
So it's been said that that Vice President Kamala Harris is really working on trying to get under the former president's skin here. So what does the former president need to do on that stage? There are concerns out there that he can't remain disciplined enough and will go on personal attacks. How concerned are you that the former president will be baited into getting into that kind of a discussion on Tuesday?
He needs to contrast without getting negative. This is something I've told candidates over the years in advising them. You can contrast on policies without resorting to negative campaigning. Now, Donald Trump may see that as a distinction without a difference, but there is a very stark difference. He can, for example, criticize Kamala Harris's so-called policies and plans to reduce prices at grocery stores without calling her Comrade Kamala and have the same effect. So he does need to remain calm and quote unquote presidential throughout this debate. I think I would also point out very quickly, Kamala Harris is not Hillary Clinton. She doesn't come into this debate with sky high disapproval ratings. It's very easy to get personal and extremely negative with Hillary Clinton, and most people won't care. Kamala Harris, I think, is a different story, and he needs to tread lightly, focus on policy.
You know, speaking of policy, for Harris, is it more important there that she stands on that stage and try to bait him into the former president into self-destructing, or does she need to actually lay out where she stands on these issues? Because I have a feeling that she might be deemed the winner, probably based more on style than substance. What do you think, Pete?
Well, debates tend to be more about style than substance. We can go through the mental highlight reel of all the things we've seen over the years. George H.W. Bush looking at his watch during a 1992 debate. Rick Perry forgetting the third of three agencies that he wanted to eliminate during a GOP primary debate in 2012. I think what Kamala Harris wants to do here is focus on platitudes rather than policy. She doesn't want to get into the weeds because the more she talks about policy, just look at all these flip-flops already. She's moving to the Republican side of the issues, to the Trump side of the issues, because where she stands doesn't fit where the American people are. So she wants this to be more about Donald Trump. But just real quick on self-implosion, what exactly does Donald Trump need to do to make someone dislike or like him at this point? You know where you stand. So he doesn't have much to lose on Tuesday night.
Great advice. Pete Seat, GOP strategist. Thank you so much, Pete, for being here tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And